What was it called?
Smack My Bitch Up.
Ooh. I think that song comes from the early 2000s.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would totally get that move.
I mean, it is kind of funny.
Okay, but like I
get it.
I totally understand that move from the visiting. If they were visiting,
right?
Like if you go to the Brewers and their PA guy Aroldis Chapman comes out and they play that, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny.
Right? Like you're harassing Aroldis Chapman
right.
and trying to get into his head.
But
your own PA guy, like that's kind of selling you out.
Whenever I went to a Frisco Rough Riders game a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And for the opposing batters, they played all of these like, I guess you'd say like girly songs.
Like
they
Britney
played like
Spears.
Britney Spears and
right.
Spice Girls for like their walk-up songs. And it was funny. They didn't do it to their own people.
Right.
They did it to the opposing team. And it was really funny. And like a lot of people didn't catch on, but I thought it was really funny.
But you were observant, huh?
Yes, I was
You were
very
on
observant.
it.
I was on it that day.
Are any of those songs now in your iPod?
One or two.
One or two? Okay.
Yeah, it's Spotify now, Dave.
it
We all
Spotify?
have playlists. It's fine.
So
You'll catch on.
I'm still the
You'll
old
catch
one.
on. It's
Okay,
fine.
eventually. One day. Not today.
Yeah, so I mean, to me this is one of those things that's not really a news story that people make a news story. Like it's not that like it literally deserves like a one-line blurb like guy who got fired
and that's what it is. It's a one-line blurb. But guess what? It's okay for a
Cubs are cruising. We're like 12 games ahead of anyone in our division. We are like 6 games ahead of the Rangers, who are like the next best team in baseball.
And today, for the St. Louis Cardinals, Matt Carpenter went down. He has to have a surgery on his thumb.
I never want to wish injury on a player.
So,
but if the Cardinals franchise fell in a sinkhole, I would be a much happier person.
And speaking of injuries, one of our favorite players around here, Giancarlo Stanton, of the Miami Marlins, sliding into second base, hurt himself. I don't remember what the injury is off the top of my head. I'm sure we could look it up real quick. But here's the thing. That guy had 25 home runs, which was 1/4 of the home runs hit by the Miami Marlins this season.
So what you're trying to say...
And the Marlins are in the hunt for that wild card position.
So what you're trying to say, Dave, is that they could use a little home run help.
They could use some help.
Well, I know a guy in New York who's kind of not getting to go out on his own terms here for his retirement.
He's not very happy about it. Now, let's look at this. What do you know about the Miami Marlins?
I know that they are owned by a guy who likes to take some chances.
Okay. Who's their manager?
I'm
Don Mattingly.
There you go.
Ah, Don Mattingly.
Who's our hitting coach?
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds, yeah.
Okay.
Barry Bonds.
Barry
I
Bonds.
do know that one.
Okay.
And I will say they also bamboozled the city of Miami into giving them a ton of money for a new stadium they didn't need.
Well, that's where the
new-ish, not even.
Yeah,
that's where the Orange Bowl used to be.
Yeah.
So if you guys, do you guys know about the Orange Bowl?
What's that, old man?
The original Orange Bowl.
I only know about watching the youth 30 for 30. That's the only reason why I know.
You do know, yeah, which is one of the best.
Yes,
like I immediately was a Miami fan right at that moment.
Right.
I'll also say that I think Miami, they kind of have like a bad rap because of their ownership being the way they are.
Well, okay, so they won that last World Series, and as soon as they won it, they're like, okay, let's go ahead and sell off the whole team.
Right.
So that really put a really distaste in a lot of people's mouth. But guess what? That's what the Yankees did for many times, but yet they reloaded. The Marlins didn't do it. But that was the Florida Marlins. This is now the Miami Marlins. Whole different picture. Okay?
Clearly different. They added brighter colors.
So will A-Rod go back home to Miami and finish career and possibly get home run number 700 as Barry Bonds is his hitting coach?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Okay.
It's a nice dream, right? Like I think it'd be really cool because with all the crazy stuff that happened to A-Rod, you know, like all the steroids and getting shafted by the league because he wouldn't admit to it and all that stuff.
Right.
Like I think he deserves to go out better. He was a better player than he's getting his retirement for. Now, I'm not one of those people who thinks you need the whole horse and pony, every team gets you a prize retirement.
A.K.A. David Ortiz. You know.
And here's the thing that kind of drove me nuts is the manager of the of the Yankees says, "Hey, I'm not here to run a parade of retirement ceremonies going on." But guess what? Hey, man, you did that last year with Mariano Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they put on a show for him. But when it's A-Rod, it's like, yeah.
What PEDs does for you right there.
Exactly.
Right, but like the Yankees are new to players who use PEDs. You know, like
really?
I mean,
that's a surprise to me.
Right. I mean, they're brand new. It's never happened. So of course, this one guy is going to be treated poorly. It's a new thing for them. I mean, it just seems so crazy. The whole thing in sports is hypocritical. As long as a guy doesn't get caught, he is adored and loved by everyone. And the moment he's caught, the franchise turns on him to try and save themselves.
Okay, Ryan, why do you think that A-Rod will not go to Miami and finish his career out as a Marlin? You give your reason, I'll give my reason.
I just think he's like, I think this Yankee thing's left a bad taste in his mouth, and he's just kind of done. You know, like I think he's just had enough, and that like he's been put through the ringer the last 2 years with all the suspensions and stuff. He hasn't played much. He hasn't really been given a shot. He's just kind of been tucked away in the corner of baseball, and no one's really given him a chance. I just think that he's like he doesn't have anything really left to prove, and most people are just going to be skeptical of any success he has now anyway. What's the point?
Okay, so the reason why I don't think he's going to do it is because it's a National League. He's going to have to go out there and play the field. Now, do I think A-Rod has it to play third base, shortstop, or first base in the National League? No, not really. I don't think he's an everyday player anymore. If anything else, he's a DH. He's going to have to be an American League player. And that's the reason why, even though there's a 4-page, I have a 4-page article written from the Miami Herald by Greg Cote. Great article. I mean, he explains why it's not going to happen. It's because A-Rod's not an everyday player, even though he is a Miami Golden Boy, and everybody loves him in Miami, even though he cheated the game.
Okay, so last baseball thing here. Give me your World Series matchup. Who is it?
Oh. See, this is the hard part, because right now we're at that stretch. You know, just a couple weeks ago, we were looking at it looked like the Astros were about ready to take over the it looked that way. It looked like, and then
what's their record against the Rangers again this year?
They won one game
out of
way
12?
too many.
Yeah, out of way too many to count.
Right. So
yikes.
That's a problem right there. So the problem with the Astros is they can't beat anybody on top. They're great at beating people at the bottom. At the top, whole different story. So.
Okay, so your now that your biased team has been eliminated.
Well, at least I can say it. Okay.
I'll eliminate my teams before they're even in the conversation.
National League, definitely the Cubs. Definitely,
I sure hope so. It's been a long time coming, right?
It's going to come. I think it's going to come between the National League Central and the National League West. So it looks like San Francisco and Chicago might meet up for your pennant race. That's what I'm thinking.
San Francisco's just so good in the playoffs, always.
Right.
They have been for the last decade.
And it's kind of funny how I just kind of like, I forgot about the Washington Nationals over there.
Who have done really well against the Cubs.
Yes. And I'm just kind of like, just kind of written them off.
I just need someone else to knock them out, and we'll be all right.
So I think that your the Giants or your West team will be the ones that knock them out.
I hope so. Okay, so what about the American?
Oh, the American League. See, silently, the Texas Rangers are still the best team in the National League, right?
I would have to agree. I mean, I'm trying to take my bias out of it, but just the moves they made at the deadline, and you just look at that lineup from 1 to 9, I'm just, it's just crazy, but I still look at their pitching staff, and I'm just like, they're kind of lacking.
Derek Holland comes back. I think he pitches Saturday.
But Derek
Holland it could be as soon as this weekend. They don't have a for sure.
But Derek Holland is getting blown up in AAA or wherever he is right now.
And he's been coming back for 2 years now. Right? Can
forever.
You really bank on Derek Holland?
He's always been that, he's going to be the next up-and-coming ace. He's been that for like 5 or 6 years now.
Well,
and
that's because
since
he's been
2011.
injured for 2.5 of them.
Right.
He's
best known for his Harry Carey impersonation during the World Series.
Which is hilarious if you haven't heard it.
So, I question the Rangers pitching. I really do. And if it comes, I don't know who's coming from the American League.
And I mean, when you look at the Cubs, with the moves they made, their real hole was their relief pitching.
Uh-huh.
Now their relief is shorn up with Chapman, and their hitting is unstoppable. They have like 4 or 5 home run games. Like, that's unbelievable. And they're all, like, usually they all come from different people. So it's like, top to bottom, I think they have the best batting in baseball at the moment, and I think their pitching's in the top 5. I think.
Oh, they have the best pitching out there right now.
I mean, I'm not gonna. Again, I'm trying to like leave my bias a little bit at the door here.
Oh, you can.
But again, they're a 74 win team already, or something crazy.
But there is one team that we're not talking about that I think is going to make a deep October run. That's Cleveland Indians.
Okay, I was getting ready to bring them up.
Those guys are killing it right now and coming out of nowhere with.
They have great
and Salazar. And
they have great pitching.
Wins in the playoffs is great pitching.
Great pitching.
Yep.
They kind of remind me of how Kansas City sort of just built up out of nothing for a couple years, and then were like really good and kind of underestimated. But they played small ball. They did all the right things, and they would end up beating teams that were on paper better than them. You know.
Speaking of Kansas City, 1 game under 500 after that remarkable season last year.
It's crazy.
Hey, man, once you get your ship, you do. It doesn't matter anymore, right? Like, you got your ring.
Right. Okay, so, hey, this is what I was somewhat impressed about the Rangers during the trade deadline, that you needed a starting pitcher. Chris Sale was out there. But the price was way too much.
Yeah, according to some guy for the White Sox said that they wanted, like, their top 4 or 5 prospects from whatever team they wanted to give them to.
They wanted Profar,
Gallo,
Mazzara, and I forgot who the fourth one was.
Lewis Brinson.
That's it.
They got who they ended up trading anyway.
I'm sure they were just like, yeah, no. And
that's
and they walked away.
Yeah. That's way too much to ask for. So I think the losers coming in the trade deadline was definitely the Chicago White Sox. They should have shipped off Sale.
Now they get nothing.
Get nothing for him. So I think it's an absolute waste that they were asking way too much. They should have got what they could have got.
So now that we've talked baseball, I feel like we're fairly caught up. Let's shift after the break back to one of my favorite topics, fantasy football. The football that matters. The football where you can win some money.
Millennials.
My dad is more diehard than I am, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of fantasy football, or at least Brad and I will, and we're going to find out why Dave doesn't.
You hear the headlines. You know health insurance is a real mess right now. Premiums have skyrocketed, and in most cases, you're stuck with your plan until open enrollment. But there's a government rule that allows you to qualify for lower health insurance rates if your life has changed. That means if you've changed jobs, if you're having a child, if you're getting married, if you're getting divorced, even if you run a small business or you're self-employed, this law may qualify you to get lower health insurance rates. Call the Health Insurance Hotline today. Learn how this 10-minute call can help you get lower health insurance rates. This is a free service to help consumers learn the laws to help them qualify for lower health insurance rates. So call right now to learn more. 800-926-4501, 800-926-4501, 800-926-4501, 800-926-4501.
Hey folks, Gavin Mitchell here. If you're in the market for a new car or truck, Jerry Chevrolet in Weatherford has been family owned and operated for nearly 50 years, and my family has done business with Jerry for 25 of those. Jerry's proudly built a reputation of working hard to provide their customers with great service and exceptional value. Jerry Chevrolet has hundreds of new trucks in stock, and they are always marked with the absolute lowest price. Come test drive the Chevy Silverado or the Colorado today and get yourself a $25 prepaid Visa gift card for doing it. When you go online at jerrychevytexas.com, Jerry will offer you a $25 prepaid Visa gift card just for stopping in. No purchase necessary. It's as easy as that. If you have a trade-in, Jerry Chevrolet is always looking for quality used cars, and you can go to jerrychevytexas.com today and find out what your vehicle is worth. Find new roads at Jerry Chevrolet in Weatherford and at jerrychevytexas.com. Come out our way and trade your way. Tell them Gavin sent you.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check